Introduction. Listen to Wu Hsin and not to your mind. Here, we acknowledge the distinction between what is and what seems to be, and thus we stop accepting our imagination as reality. All that is required is to abandon your own erroneous beliefs. Words are not facts, but merely ideas about the facts. What Wu Hsin points to is direct contact with reality itself, without allowing your belief system to intervene. Therefore, do not interrupt. Look at the situation from a different perspective so that we may perceive what truly matters. Whether you agree or disagree with what is said is irrelevant. The truth does not require your agreement, only your recognition. You are timeless, infinitely present, here and now. It may seem like an achievement, but it is not. You gain nothing, you merely lose. There is nothing to learn, however, there is much to unlearn. Immense patience is needed to understand and discern this. It is a long process of unlearning until discernment appears in an instant, and when it does, it is unspeakable. These instructions will not take you anywhere. They merely return you to the place from which you never left. The teaching in three aspects. First, on the phenomenal plane, when one stops resisting what is and harmonizes with what is, clarity is attained. Second, as clear vision deepens, the understanding arises that no one is doing anything. There is only one doing everything through the many and diverse phenomena that serve as its instruments. Third, the seemingly separate I is a misunderstanding created by the mind, which divides everything into a subject I and an object, the world outside this I. This apparent duality, this sensation of being separate and apart, is the fundamental cause of unhappiness. In contemplation of the source of everything, of the natural state that exists prior to any manifestation, the individual, the I, is finally seen as an object. The return to unity is nothing more than the end of this division. The absolute understanding. Selections from Wu Hsin. Every man is born twice, first in the womb of the mother, then the notion of the I arises. Then the problem begins. Parents, teachers, and society induce this trance called I. To gain clarity, challenge and investigate your reality. Direct cognition is available here and now. Let me build a great fire and feed it with all the concepts, judgments, and ideas. Once the fire consumes them, the world will be seen as a perfect place. Here is the absolute simplicity of the matter. In the absence of identification with anything, who are you? There is a central concept upon which everything else is built. That central concept is the I, the notion of a distinct identity that stands apart from the world. Only when this is seen as false can the truth shine. The arrival of clarity is the loss of what was never truly possessed. The final step in a spiritual journey is to lose yourself. Trust that what brought you here will also guide you beyond. All that exists is consciousness. Consciousness is all there is. In the absence of consciousness, what exists? All manifestations appear and disappear within consciousness. Consciousness is the prior condition for all perception. Everything that is perceived by consciousness as an object of consciousness, including the perceiver. Understand this. And then go tend to your carrots. Thinking creates more problems than it solves. Fighting the mind strengthens the mind. Seeing through the mind, what is prior to it, removes all its power. The flow of the mind is continuous. Desiring to stop it is like trying to bury your own shadow. The goal, therefore, is not to stop thoughts, but to stop identifying with them. Thoughts intrude like unwanted guests at a party. Ignored and unfed, they leave. Trying to understand unity is as futile as trying to drink with your ears. Using the mind to reach final understanding is like hiring a thief to guard your house from other thieves. You do not know what is good. You only know what is good for you. Yet, all this is relative. What is good for you may be bad for me. What is good for you today may be bad for you tomorrow. Would it not be better to leave judgment to fools the strategy of seeking an advantageous position in life, is the source of sorrow. You are not the main character in this play. You are one of many characters. Each one has a role to play. No actor can change their role on stage according to their preferences. Why perpetuate an illusion by seeking to control something? I laugh when I hear you talk about your plans. Anything that can be gained can also be lost. Only the eternal is forever. This realization is the first step toward the unity that is, that always was, and always will be. What does the orange tree need to do for the oranges to grow? What does the sky need to do to be blue? What is natural requires no study or practice. Does anyone study how to sleep? To attain what is natural, one only needs to remove what is unnatural. The fruit contains the seed that contains the fruit. Just sitting, without goal, without schedule, without form, and without intention, the seed opens into the fruit, just sitting. Men are so fascinated by the tree that they have forgotten the seed, the origin of the tree, on the transitory and the eternal. Believing you are that which comes and goes is a great folly. Believing that the transient can lead you to the permanent is to set yourself up for disappointment. What comes and goes is merely an appearance. That which perceives all the comings and goings is the only substance. Drinking from this elixir, life is recognized as eternal. The path backwards, the way out is the way back. Turn your attention to that from which infinity arose. Look deeply within yourself and try to find yourself. The failure that follows is the true discovery. How can the light find the darkness? Darkness is merely the absence of light. How can one find their own origin? The origin is only revealed through your own absence. The shadow cannot exist without the substance, but the shadow is not the substance. How can the world exist for you if you are not there to perceive it? The creation of distinctions arises from the cycle of pleasure and pain. When all is accepted with equanimity, stillness is established. All conflicts between friends, lovers, families, and kingdoms begin as an internal conflict. To free oneself from conflict is to free the world from conflict. The past is merely a memory. The future is merely a hope. All that exists is this moment. Only this moment is eternal and real. Everything else is the mind. Why do you complain about the darkness when there are candles unlit beside the bed? It is quite simple. Know what you are not. See all that you are not. What remains is what has always been. Many methods lead you to become more comfortable, but that is all they do. One who is comfortable in their prison cannot be set free by anyone. Nothing removes them from the prison because they are the prison. When the sandals are comfortable, you sit barefoot. When the robe is comfortable, you sit unclothed. All discomfort is a call for attention. Give attention to what you are, and do not give attention to what you seem to be. This is the key that opens the door. My method has no method. You only need to stop. Stop grasping, stop planning, stop praying, stop searching, stop analyzing, stop all your strategies, and finally, stop giving your thoughts the power to define who you are. There is nothing to be done. There is no one to do. Seeing with clarity is an impersonal event that occurs in the absence of the one who intends to see with clarity. In fact, it is the one who intends to see with clarity that is the greatest impediment to seeing with clarity. No one is humble. There is only humility. No one is compassionate. There is only compassion. By removing the one, the other is revealed. If you knew that this is only a dream, would anything else truly matter? At every second, you have the opportunity to break free from this enchantment with your life story, and thus enter the realm of total peace. What are you waiting for? Engaging in debates only feeds the mind. Prefer to starve it until it withers away, on death and immortality. Who dies when the body dies? What dies when the body dies? All individuals die. Only those who are no longer individuals live eternally. Achieving immortality is easy. Simply let go of the ownership of the body and mind, remaining rooted in what existed before your appearance. All that is required is to stop seeing yourself in the world and instead see the world in yourself. Going deeper is the only way out. There is no place to go. Everything that exists is here. When there are no more goals, the objective is achieved. To reach understanding, the focus must be less on what is and more on what is not. When all the clouds disappear, the sun is revealed in all its glory. Take everything away until all that remains is you. Then take yourself away as well, and the dwelling place of happiness will be revealed. The key to happiness is simply to renounce what is not essential. Stillness, dream, awakening. This is the great wheel. When the knower of these three is known, the great gate opens. Any awakening to the truth is an intuitive and spontaneous process. There is nothing to be done. It is the nature of the flame to burn. It is the nature of the moth to fly toward the light. When the moth is destroyed by the flame, can it be considered the moth's fault? The world is just an interaction of opposites, one and many, full and empty, coming and going. This flow continues. The one who is not affected by the flow is the one who has accepted it. How different the world is when the identified individual is absent. Once the function of perception is clearly understood, the notion of inside and outside disappears. But how can one describe a color to a man born blind? Why so many words? Let stillness speak, and all questions are answered. Ideas distort experience. One who is empty of ideas experiences life in all its fullness. Ignorant is the one who ignores the essential. To know the sky, the earth, and all things, but not to know yourself, is the highest form of ignorance. Wake up from this trance, or remain buried alive. Accept that snow is white, that the crow is black, that summers are hot, and that winters are cold. This is the heart of understanding everything. It is not the extraordinary that requires attention, but what is common. Thoughts come, the kettle whistles, and the response is the same for both. Naming is building a fence between what is named and the one who names. All life becomes pure when mental commentary is removed. Then the cup of tea transforms into a sacred moment. A dog does not know it is a dog. It only knows that it is. If only man could be so fortunate. It is easy to get lost in imagination. It is harder to root oneself in what is. The beauty of music is felt, not analyzed. Hold a single note for a second too long, and the melody is lost. True life is the one that happens when no one is trying to lead it. All art is created in the absence of the artist. The end of unhappiness occurs in the absence of anyone who is unhappy. You are the only obstacle. The path beyond you is through you. On boundaries and problems, what can exist without you? Answer that, and all other questions will be concluded. Just as skin is the physiological boundary, thinking is the intellectual boundary. Going beyond these boundaries is the door to the vastness beyond comprehension. All problems are created by the mind and related to the body. In the absence of either, where are the problems? The fool denies the existence of what they cannot imagine. The wise deny the existence of what they imagine. Seeing the usefulness in everything is knowledge. Seeing the uselessness in everything is wisdom. The secrets to living are these. First, the past cannot be improved. Recognize what was and move on. Second, the future cannot be shaped. So why bother? Lastly, nothing can be controlled, neither the past, nor the future, nor the present. Accept this moment as it is. By honoring these three secrets, one lives without chains. Under a rock, there is always darkness, no matter how brightly the sun shines. Seeing clearly is merely stepping out from under the rock of personal identification. Totality is simply the perception of the inexistence of parts. The end of illusion is the end of the I. For being you is the illusion itself. Real contact happens when there is no person, no personality, and no individual to know. Beyond the known lies the realm of endless discovery. For perception to flourish, it is not what is done that matters. What matters is what is stopped from being done. To go from vast nothingness to become a small something is the pinnacle of madness. Living spontaneously leaves no time for thinking. That is true living, on stillness and conditioning. True stillness, the stillness without anyone trying to be still, is the solvent in which all individual conditioning can dissolve. What remains is neutrality, an acceptance of what is. Problems no longer arise when the creator of problems is no longer part of the process. This means that the solution to all problems is the removal of the creator of all problems. Abandon everything that has been acquired and return to the state before the first acquisition. Who are you? In the single instant, absent of any thought, there is the clear revelation that nothing is wrong. The return of thoughts announces the return of problems. Recognizing illusions as illusions is the way out of illusion. The only thing harder than searching for a grain of rice in a pile of straw is searching in the wrong pile. Where are you looking for what you want to find? If you're looking outside, you're searching in the wrong pile. The individual desires liberation. But liberation from what? Liberation from the pain of being an individual. Do you not see why I laugh so much? What is. It always was, and always will be. There is nothing to be done, no place to go, nothing to obtain. Clarity is not about adding, it is about removing. Giving up little, you obtain little. Giving up much, you obtain much. Giving up everything, you obtain everything. Life pulses, everything is happening, but there is no one to whom it happens. In silence, an interior and subtle eye opens and sees what is the foundation that supports all appearances. All experience is transient, but the foundation of experience is immovable and permanent. This is diving deep into the root of being. In undisturbed silence, this fundamental lucidity is made known. Those who have understood know this. The story of Lan Shi. His first master taught him, "You are the screen upon which everything appears and disappears." Lan Shi was not satisfied. His second master taught him, "You are the screen upon which everything appears and disappears." Lan Shi was not satisfied. His third master said, "First, you must serve me for 10 years. Only then will I teach you." And so it was. For 10 years, Lan Shi served the master, cleaning the animals' manure, sweeping the floor, preparing meals, and washing clothes. At the conclusion of 10 years, Lan Shi said to the master, "I have fulfilled my commitment, and now I am ready to receive your teaching." "Very well," replied the master. "You are the screen upon which everything appears and disappears." Over time, yourself changes and disappears. Ask yourself, throughout this life, how many identities have you had? Where are they now? How long do you think this current identity of yours will last? Where will it go when it is finished? Beneath it all, there is the support. That is the water for the boat. That is the sky for the cloud. What is known is supported by the unknown, which in turn is supported by the unknowable. Ignoring this is the madness of men, the timeless ground. What has never changed, what will never change, is the fertile ground to explore. What is permanent within transitoriness? Upon finding this, the search ends. The seeker ends. Everything that can be obtained can be lost. What cannot be obtained is what is already present, here, and now. Realign yourself with that, and nothing else. It is not necessary to analyze the darkness to dispel it. Simply light the lamp of clarity, and all darkness ends. All things appear as they truly are to those not blinded by self-interest. The rain is falling, the grass is growing, the crow is crowing. Where is the effort in that? The illusion of time and effort, the desire to arrive somewhere, a destination for a self chained to time, prevents the perception that everything exists in this singular moment, right here, right now. The world is known through the mind, but the sustenance of the world cannot be known through the mind, for it is prior to the mind. When clarity is present, there are never any problems. When clarity is absent, there are always problems. Once understanding is complete and clear, there is nothing to do but observe. With no one here and no one there, everything is as it should be. Talking about eating does not satisfy hunger. These words merely point to the restaurant. The solution to all problems is to see who it is that has them. And the only one who can tear down the wall is the one who built it. Every day, become at least a gram lighter. What makes a man wise? Nothing more than perceiving the unity that appears as many. Perceiving through appearance is everything. The search ends when the fish understands the futility of searching for the ocean. The water is no wetter here than there. There is no need to go there to obtain what is also here. Those who chase 2 rabbits catch none. The one who observes spends their whole life in conflict with what is observed. This is resolved when both the observer and the observed dissolve into observation. Man's primary function is to create unhappiness for others. This ceases when it is understood that there are no others. All suffering is personal. In the absence of the person, where can suffering collapse? Remove the shroud of thoughts, and where can peace not be found? Stop talking and thinking. Thus, nothing can remain unknown. Beliefs can be built like the walls of a fortress. Unless the wall is torn down, the other side cannot be reached. Chasing appearances is ignoring the source of appearances. The entrance to the unknown is narrow. Only those who abandon all acquired knowledge gain access. Silence is not the absence of sound. Silence is the absence of the I. The one who understands becomes quiet. My words are not important. Focus completely on the silence. The perception of what is can only be achieved by eliminating obstacles. I cannot describe what is. I can only describe what is not. The elimination of what is not. This is the great unlearning. Do not add even a single concept. Empty yourself. Only when one is empty of emptiness as well can fullness manifest. This heavy garment, this personal identity that seems to protect you, is merely a second skin, a step that separates you from the infinite. Remove it, and go beyond all need for protection. There is no need to go beyond the mind. See through the mind. That is enough. When the true void is encountered face to face, everything is lost. What more can one accomplish when, in truth, there is no accomplisher? When this notion of individual dissolves like ice in water, it is seen that nothing is external. Everything is contained in the unified. Then freedom arises. Freedom from this and that. Freedom from yes and no. Freedom to be what has always been, before being someone. Clarity cannot be rushed. It is already there. It is only the veils, the mists of thought, that tend to obscure it. Eternity is available at every moment. Reality is always now. Step away from your own concerns, and eternity will present itself. Everything that rises falls. The origin and the end meet at a single point. The wise call this home. The wise do not have all the answers. The wise have no more questions. Everything is moving on the surface of stillness. Trust that what brought you here will lead you there, and all effort will cease. When you were in the womb, nature took care of you. You did nothing. Why do you think it is different now? This is the naturalness in which the particular becomes universal, the seamless whole. What has always been is like a seamless ball. Its beginning is nowhere and everywhere. Its end is everywhere and nowhere. Do you understand that this cannot be shown? The dream lasts as long as the dreamer. The end of the last is the end of the first. The greatest crime is neglecting who you truly are to believe in the story of who you think you are. This concern with your personal drama is the cloud that covers the sun. In unity, everything constitutes being. There is no one who sees, and there is no sight. This is that which cannot be known because there is no other to know it. This is that which can only be found where there is no presence or absence. There is great potential in you. Light your inner fire. The greater the fire, the faster your water can boil. If given the choice between 1,000 gold coins or total understanding, choose the gold coins and enjoy them. For there is no one to enjoy absolute understanding. You are incomprehensible, like space. Recognize that it is possible to directly experience this presence in every moment, here and now. Being present and aware is not a state. It is the foundation from which all things rise. Seek this, and you will find what you never lost. You are this.